So how do you simplify a division of two expressions containing exponents? So here's an example. X to the 5 divided by x to the second power. Now, to simplify expressions that look like this, the best way to go about it is to always break it up into pieces. So, x to the 5 can be broken up as x times x times x times x times x 5 times, divided by x to the second power, which is really just x times x. Okay, so now what do we have? We have x divided by x. What is that? Well, let's think about it this way. What happens if I do 10 divided by 10? Or 100 divided by 100? Or 123 divided by 123 itself? Well, all of these are just 1, because a number divided by itself, the same number, is always 1. So here we see x is divided by the same number x, which really is just 1. And we have that exact same thing over here. We see x divided by another x, which is just again 1. What is 1 times 1, however? Well, 1 times 1 is just 1. Okay, now how many x's do we have? We have 1 times x times x times x, which can be now simplified as 1 times x to the third. Now, do we really need that 1 in the front? We really don't need to include that 1 in the front, because 1 times anything is just that same anything. Like 1 times 10 is just 10, or 1 times 100 is just 100. So we really don't need to write that 1. So we can just say x to the third. And there you go. So let's try another example where we divided two expressions containing exponents. Okay, so here's an example where we have x to the 10 divided by x to the fourth. So again, we're going to break this into pieces to see what we have left. X to the 10 can be written as x times 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 x. There you go, 10 times. All divided by x to the fourth, which can be simplified as x times x times x times x. Cool. So now what do we have? Again, any number divided by that same number is just 1. Here we also see 1 and 1 and 1. And 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1. So 1 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We see x being multiplied by itself 6 times. So we can simplify that as x to the 6. And again, we don't really need that times 1 in the front, because any number times 1 is just that same thing. So we can just say x to the 6. And there you go. This expression can be simplified as x to the 6. Now let's try one more example. Okay, so here is another problem. We see x to the 6, which can be broken down as x times x times x times x times x times x 6 times, times y squared, which can be broken up as y times y. Now all of this is being divided by x to the fourth, which is x times x times x times x, times y to the fifth, which is y times y times y times y times y. Great. So now how do we simplify this? Again, any number divided by that same exact number is always 1. So x divided by x is 1, x divided by x is 1, and x divided by x is 1. So how many x's do we have? We see we have 2 more x's being multiplied by itself. So really we have x squared. And notice there's x squared in the numerator on the top. But what about the y's? We see y is being divided by y, so that is again 1. Y divided by another y is again 1. So how many y's do we have left? We have y times y times y, which is y to the third. However, we don't have y multiplied by itself 3 times in the numerator this time. We have them in the denominator left over. So in the bottom, or on the denominator, we have y to the third left over. And there you go. This expression can be simplified as x squared divided by y to the third.